What's going on, everybody? What's good? It's your boy Rob, aka Roboto, and wow, it's here. Madden 21 Ultimate Team. Madden 21 is upon us. We're right here. We're at the finish line. Before we get into it, though, they did a little stream for us on Tuesday night. EA did. It was Agent K, Jake Stein. They broke down a bunch of stuff from Madden Ultimate Team, and this video in particular is going to be the part where they break down some of the new promos coming. And with the promos, of course, there's some special cards coming out. So we have team captains, we have team diamonds, which, by the way, it was leaked right here. Boom, I'm gonna throw it up right here, that Barry Sanders is the team master. Barry Sanders, that's right, Barry Sanders. So we're gonna get Barry Sanders in the game. Hopefully he'll be a little glitchy like he was last year for a couple people. We also have other stuff like the NFL Epics. We're getting 4 this year. Remember last year we got 2, we're getting 4. 4 new team captain selections. We got MUT Master. We got a whole bunch of stuff coming. There's going to go over all the promos, starting with the rivals, going all the way through to level master, things like that. So we're going to go ahead and check all that out right now. But before we dive in, if you're new here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Also click the little bell, get notifications for whenever I go live. And if you like what you see, hit the thumbs up, because if you do like what you see, that means I'm going to make more of it. And that means when I get more likes, that means we're gonna hit specific goals. And in this goal in particular, we get 20 likes. I'm opening the bundle, first stream back on Madden 21. So you're gonna wanna hit that thumbs up button. I know you want to. Check it out, all right? But yeah, let's go check out what we got going on coming into Madden Ultimate Team. Let me know in the comments below which one of these legends, which one of these NFL classic players are you looking forward to adding to your team? I know my dude Dave Deal, Giants lineman's there. I'm very excited. That's great that the Giants are getting a legend lineman. They were struggling last year on that for sure. But yeah, check it out right now and we'll see what we got coming in for Madden 21 Ultimate Team.
Let's go ahead and talk about MUT programs, guys. So first up, let's go ahead and talk about Rivals. So Rivals is pretty similar when I kind of started tinkering around with this, similar to kind of like Welcome to Madden Ultimate Team, that onboarding experience that we had last year. You want to talk a little bit about Rivals, that program, or anything different?
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple things that stand out. You know, I'm sure for a lot of people who are nice enough to join us on stream tonight, probably not the thing that's going to give you the most challenging experience in Ultimate Team. This is totally the thing that you're jumping into first once you get into Madden Ultimate Team. So I think these are all set to arcade play style. You're going through, you're kind of getting those early rewards, those early progressions. The main thing that, again, a lot of people who are probably joining us tonight would be interested in is playing through this and earning, all those particular milestones along the way. You get to choose from one of 3 players. I believe we have Ben Roethlisberger, Zach Ertz, and Jalen Smith as our 3 85 overall players that you kind of get from competing and completing the Rivals. Now, the other thing that's going to be interesting with Rivals is we have plans to kind of continue this on as the year goes on. So look for that as, again, we continue getting deeper into the Madden season. Rivals is probably something that you're going to see kind of a continuation to.
Cool. And right now I'm just cycling through the images, giving people an opportunity. I know there's folks out there that are probably trying to capture these images, for videos or things that they're doing. I know we haven't tweeted these out from @EASports_MUT. So just going to kind of, for the time being, cycle through these. You guys can see those. But next up, I think what we're going to talk about is the team captain program. So let's go ahead and talk about team captains, Jake. So first up, we got some new players. Let's go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, we do. Pretty early on in the experience, you're going to be able to get into your MUT captains, and we're actually going to have a relatively short experience here where you're going to get each one of those team captains overridden onto your team and kind of try them out before you have to make the choice of who you want. So as you can see here on screen, we've got the great Eddie George back in the house, as well as Leroy Glover, Ed McCaffrey, and Aeneas Williams. So again, you're kind of go through, play with this experience, have a relatively short challenge where they're on your team, get a sense of how impactful you might feel like they are. From there, you'll go ahead and make your choice of which of the captains that you want. Now, a couple things to note here. This is not like this oh my gosh, if I make the wrong choice here, I'm done forever. No, we do have an exchange set for you that's available right away, and you can do as many times as you want. So if you kind of quickly have remorse over who you got, or again, like a very real world thing might be, hey, I picked Eddie George, but then I just got Travis.
You pull
why am I
Christian
Derrick
McCaffrey
Henry
out of you or something like that.
Yeah. If I go and pull Derrick, okay, cool. I'm set at running back now. I'm gonna go turn in Eddie George, and I'm gonna go pick up Ed McCaffrey or Leroy Glover. So you can kind of stay flexible in that regard. The other thing to note here with the captains themselves are there's actually, when you open up any one of these packs, there's 32 versions of each team captain in there. It sounds crazy, but it's really just
I was going to bring that up. I opened it yesterday, and it's someone's going to have, people are going to have fun with this. Just saying, there's 30. The audio on it is pretty crazy when you open it. I'll leave it. I'm not going to say anything else.
There you go. So yeah, what this does is it allows you to choose what team that you want to go after. And again, there are some design reasons. I'm actually going to let the players themselves kind of sort of feel it out and kind of see how the flow goes for when it comes to team captains. But versus like, something that we've done in the past where it's like, well, why don't I just have them and there's 32 team choices? Like there's some other design choices that are being made here that'll make sense once you get into it.
Okay. And I'm just cycling through some of the images that we captured. Like right now I'm actually on Aeneas Williams, home screen. Went ahead and showed kind of like the 32 when I picked the Seahawks as a Seahawks fan. Jake, I really do apologize. I know we were doing the stream together and I chose not to bring any Bucks into the picture. So I do apologize. I've done you a massive disservice. But I'm just cycling through these, and then I have the screenshots of their ratings, so I'm going to put those up on stream right now for people to see. So this is kind of like their ratings when you go ahead and get your team captain and that you go ahead and choose that. So I'm going to go ahead and cycle through these, give it a little bit of a moment for people to kind of digest that information. And again, this is a lot of all the things that you're seeing here are the key ratings. And Jake, one thing that we didn't talk about, the key ratings, when you see that on the back of or kind of in that view, why do we focus on key ratings? Like, is there anything specific or unique about those key ratings that people should be aware of?
Well, I'm excited to have a much better answer in the near future. But for now, what this is it's still tied to the position. And so really what it's trying to do is really kind of elevate and bring, kind of like the main attributes that are building towards that OVR. Maybe that's not necessarily the best case for every archetype. Read between the lines, but more on that later on. But it's really kind of like your kind of quick glimpse into seeing, what are the attributes that I should care about. I'm a newer player. I'm not sure why I should care about a defensive tackle. Here are some of those key ratings that you should be looking at.
Very cool. Yeah, I know like sometimes when you look at items, it was always the same cookie cutter ratings that were there, and you always wonder, does this apply for that player, or does this apply for, of course there were questions, does this really impact the archetype and other stuff? So sounds like you guys are still doing some work in that space, but thanks for answering that question.
We're always grinding.
I appreciate it, man. All right, let's go ahead and talk about NFL Epics up next. So we have NFL Epics. What is the NFL Epics program? We had it last year, right? So we had
we had 2 players at the start of last year. This year we've upped it to 4. And so with each one of these players, there's a 25 game Ultimate Challenge experience, kind of calling out and highlighting, 25 of the best moments from their career. And you can see on here, you get a nice view up for the audience. So we got Larry Fitzgerald, an AP, as well as Ronnie Lott and Jack Youngblood. So especially, all 4 of those guys, certainly not exactly hard to go find these epic moments that they've brought to the table. But with Ronnie Lott and Jack Youngblood, especially excited about that. And as you can see here, you're kind of in the mission view here. With each one of these, you're going to have the opportunity to play through those 25 challenges. From there, you're going to unlock one additional challenge. Go ahead and complete that, beat that, and that's how you're going to earn the 85 overall version for each one of these players. And so they're all available. There's not any sort of gating mechanism or anything like that. You're able to kind of get into all these guys. And so yeah, little 104 game challenge sequence. You got yourself 485s.
Good stuff. And I'm just showing right now just some of the ratings that we have here. Again, huge shout out to Paige. Huge shout out to Josh for all your help in kind of helping me get stuff set up on the build to capture these images for the community and get that out there. Yeah, Paige, phenomenal job here in getting all this stuff done for the community so they can see it. All right, up next, Jake, I'm going to take a little breather. You need a water break, bio break. You good?
I've been stealing some while you have these screens up. We're still okay right now.
I'm over here sipping just live on stream, you know, and it is water, just for those people asking.
Sure.
Okay, MUT Master. Let's go and talk about MUT Master. Actually, you know, I'm putting up the screen MUT Master, but before we get into that, let's go ahead and talk about. I messed it up earlier. It's like design ethos. What's the philosophy with MUT Master? Last year we had Pat Tillman, and you and I have been talking, you know, offline a little bit about kind of where you guys want to go with the MUT Master and how you guys pick those players. And this MUT Master is like I didn't know the person at first, and people are like, oh my gosh, you know, you're not really a true football fan, and it's like, okay, you know, I get it. But at the same time, I think there's just like stories behind these things that you guys are doing that is really cool. So let's go and talk about it.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely not to say like this is how MUT Master is going to be from now until whenever, but certainly, you know, kind of proud to kind of, you know, take it in this new direction. You kind of go back 4+ years ago. It was typically the same player as who was on the cover for that year. And starting with Sean Taylor a few years ago is where we kind of like, oh, well, here's another player that, you know, kind of goes just beyond, you know, just a cover athlete or what it might mean to be the MUT Master, you know. And then the following year was Ryan Shazier after, you know, his story and his kind of, again, battle and grind back to getting, you know, part of himself back. It was truly inspirational. And then, yeah, you mentioned Pat Tillman last year, and I think a lot of us are familiar with Pat Tillman. So this year it was like, okay, well, if we wanted to continue going in that direction, you know, who might be some players that would be on that list. I tweeted the other day that Alex Smith was somebody that was certainly kind of like met the criteria. That sounds terrible, but like it's sort of like somebody that would kind of have those same feels. I mean, just seeing what he's gone through and the odds that he's overcoming are amazing, right? But we went in another direction, and we are going with you know, both New Orleans Saints and Carolina Panther linebacker Sam Mills. Sam Mills is probably best known for his, you know, his sort of legacy is this keep pounding, you know, which is, you know, this speech that he provided. You know, he transitioned from his playing career into a coaching career with the Panthers, and during their Super Bowl run in the playoffs, he kind of had this very inspirational speech. And, you know, why was it inspirational? Well, that year started off with him getting diagnosed with intestinal cancer in August of that year, and he chose to fight it. He chose to not only fight it, but continue coaching. And that was the year where the Panthers kind of made it all the way and played the Patriots in the Super Bowl that year. And so that kind of keep pounding legacy continues to live on for Carolina, and that franchise. Keep pounding, I think, is their official hashtag. It is certainly the thing that they do to start every game now. They have a keep pounding kind of drum routine. So really kind of cool and special, and just somebody that, you know, again, kind of just transcends, you know, again, this was no slouch either. I mean, he played again for 12 years, a handful of Pro Bowls. I believe he helped the Panthers win their first game in franchise history. With a defensive touchdown, like just a sensational player, and, you know, kind of with everything else, this one felt right. And so I'm excited to kind of announce that one tonight. Hope everybody else is equally excited about this.
It's awesome, man. Just to let people know, you know, the way to go ahead and get your Sam Mills MUT Master item is you're going to go into like the MUT Master progression kind of ultimate challenges and missions. You're going to go through all that. Jake, I know you're going to talk a little bit about that because you guys did things maybe a little bit different this year. So you're going to get a touchdown. It's a really quick ultimate challenge. You're going to go ahead and then get your Sam Mills player item, which you guys saw earlier. But then there's going to be, I think we talked about this, Jake, there is going to be there's going to be like a main list, and then there's going to be a list that's tied to the series updates, right? And how you can go ahead and earn tokens to go ahead and upgrade your MUT Master. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So the main list is something that is going to look and feel a lot like, not certainly not exactly, but a lot like what you've seen with MUT Master objectives list over the past couple years. There are definitely some differences. There's actually, I think, maybe a few less this year. That main list will give you enough upgrade tokens to get him to a 93 overall.
Okay. And I have an image of that.
Overall, he's been a 95. So you mentioned the series list. With every series, there's going to be a MUT Master list that sits alongside it as well. And it has 4 different objectives on it. If you do half of them, you get an additional +1 collectible for Sam Mills. If you do all 4 of those in the time of the series that it's open, there's a pretty strong coin reward for doing that. And so again, this is a mix of, right now you see it here on screen. There's some team-based stats as well as some stats that you need to do specifically with the Sam Mills MUT Master. And again, kind of doing them all in that time frame is going to net you a pretty strong coin reward. You can still get a coin reward and the +1 OVR after the fact. It just won't be as strong as if it was being done during that given series that it came out in. So he will go to a 94, and then with each series, rather than, again, Kralo, you come in saying, hey, people are pounding on the door, when are we upgrading MUT Master? We're just going to go and commit to it right now. With every series, he's going to get a +1 OVR until he reaches that 99.
Cool. You know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to change. I'm telling the live service team right now, change your Slack to the knock knock, because that's what I'm going to be doing virtually while we're working from home. Dad joke, bad one. Leave it at that. Showing Sam Mills 93 overall right here. So Jake, when you complete the list, these are some of the key attributes or key ratings that you're going to see on Sam Mills. We also got a screenshot. Again, huge shout out to Paige for helping out with this. When you get into a 94 overall, and also huge shout out to the art team. I did take a screenshot of the upgrades because I wanted to just see the art. I just wanted to see the art right here, kind of just as you kind of build it out. You get to see kind of a unique art treatment. You're going to unlock some front art treatments with Sam Mills as you upgrade him, and you'll see some stuff there. Anything else you want to talk about regarding MUT Master, Jake, before we jump into Level Master?
Well, something that both the Level Master and MUT Master are going to share is a team chemistry bucket that will let you choose from all 32 teams. So that's probably a good thing to just kind of get out there. It's not just the Panthers and the Saints that are going to, so quote unquote benefit from Sam Mills.
It's great.
We did go ahead and make that change, and those players will have access to all 32 team chems.
That's awesome. I think when I was testing the build and kind of capturing, I probably might have captured at a certain time. There's, like every day, there's just like a ton of updates. I didn't see that for MUT Master, which is great news. I do have a capture here for Level Master, which I'll lead into that. So for Level Master, we have Andre Johnson as going to be our guy. I'm going to just go through some screens real quick here, but I'm going to get to that screen that shows all the chemistries for the player. Do you want to talk about Level Master and anything that's unique and different this year, Jake?
Well, Andre Johnson, it's been a minute since we've seen him in Ultimate Team. So, super pumped to have him back. Again, full team chemistry choice. Similar story as last year. As you're upgrading your MUT level, you're going to get tokens to upgrade him. I believe there are this year also some additional challenges as well, which you would be able to find other Level Master collectibles as well. The other kind of interesting thing that we're tinkering around with Level Master is he's going to have a few unique X factors for him. When I say unique, they're not different X factors that you find in the rest of the game. They are still some of the same ones. They're just going to have different, what we kind of call trigger and knockout conditions. And so, you know, he might have things where it's easier to activate it, but it's going to come out maybe 1 or 2 plays later. So some other things in there. And again, that's another one where if we start to see feedback, or if that's a thing that becomes kind of a meta, we'll pull it back to the ability cap story, right? That's one where we might go in there and say, hey, this one might actually need to be like 1 point of AP versus the 0 that it's currently at. Because again, we kind of feel right now it's balanced with, yeah, it's easier to get into, but it's not going to last as long. So we'll be looking for feedback on there. But yeah, it's just a couple things to kind of hopefully make Level Master feel you know, even more unique and special this year.
That's awesome. And I have his ratings right here. So I think when you go ahead and work through, you know, all the levels, we'll talk briefly on the levels. I'm actually not going to spoil it this stream, going through every single level. I'll leave that for the community, the content creators to do. You know, you guys do it way better than I do. So definitely going to leave that there from that perspective. But here are his ratings. And like you said, Jake, one of the things I did observe when kind of doing this was that in the past, when you unlocked like those level challenges, it was like, oh, I'm just going to go there and just do them and get some coins. There are actually unique you know, tokens that you can get from those level challenges. So I don't know if I have a screen of that, but we'll go ahead and talk about that. Let's go ahead and talk about Team Affinity. So Team Affinity is more kind of like that theme builders, kind of Team Diamonds. There's a story there that we want to talk a little bit about. So let's talk about Team Affinity. Jake, team builders. What can we expect when we're talking about team builders this year?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when Team Affinity as a whole and why it's branded kind of that way is, again, we continue to see that people really enjoy building those teams, right? Like, it's no surprise that Kralo has literally pulled a Seahawk for every one of these screenshots, or if he can put Seahawks on there, or even if he asked Paige to just put something, like just put a fake Seahawks logo on top of this guy, even though it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, I get it, right? We all love our teams. You can see my Zoom background. Like, we love our teams, right? And so being able to have, you know, some of that when it comes to, you know, just building the best Madden Ultimate Team. I'm gonna go find the best OVR for every position. It doesn't always have to be like that. And we've done it again through chemistry balancing and the different type of options and the things that we're being cognizant of when we're designing and choosing players. It's with these this team affinity in mind. And so when it comes with builders, you know, we've got 16 challenges for you here when the game comes out. Go through it, knock all those out, and then from there you're going to have a choice of all 32 teams. And so, shocker, Krayla's going to pick the Seahawks, and then from there you're going to see one offense and one defensive player from the Seahawks. They're both at 84 OBR, so you're going to be able to make that choice. So it's kind of a fantasy pack where you're going to get a double choice. You're going to choose the team first, and then you're going to go ahead and choose, do you want the offense or defensive player? Cool.
So, you know, I'm also not going to spoil that. I think community members out there and even content creators may show that. So I wanted to kind of just touch on the basics. But Team Diamonds was something you were really passionate about last year when we talked about this, Jake. You know, you guys were looking at signing some legends, signing some new players. Go ahead and talk to me about Team Diamonds this year.
Yeah, so slight, you know, it's not quite the theme diamonds, it's team diamonds, but it's really the same thing. It's just, you know, we're just going with the team vernacular this year. So it's a lot of what we, you know, were able to do last year, which was going after and find some of these legends that maybe, you know, really speak to kind of like the heart of that particular fan base. Sometimes it's for players who, you know, we just haven't had in the game in quite some time. But, you know, maybe again, not like your everyday household name, but like the guys that are going to be super impactful for you as you're a fan of that team. And I think I saw you just have the Bears and the Jim Covert one. And, you know, some people like Jimbo Covert. He's actually somebody that was going, well, I don't know if he's technically going into the Hall of Fame because I know they delayed the Hall of Fame. But anyway, he's part of this year's Hall of Fame class, left tackle for the Bears. So super cool. And I think you even have a list of all 32 of the guys.
And I so just a heads up, in this I put Justin Covert, right? And I think I took that off someone's document. Jimbo Covert.
Oh no.
So yeah, you know who you are, person over there who does spreadsheets. Just kidding. We're just gonna banter a little bit so that you guys can see a lot of these names. Sorry that it is in 8.5.
Same with Don Telhart. My goodness.
Yeah. So you got 49ers, Justin Smith. this was like at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm putting this together. So if I butchered any of these names, guys, I'm sorry. All right, I'll work on it. Jake, if you need me to go ahead and revise this, I'll get it over to Paige. Paige will proof it, and then she'll get this image out there. Like, or we'll get it on NFL Direct, and everyone can meme me. I mean, it's fun.
You're the best, man. If there's anybody that gets a pass, it's definitely you. So yeah, just going through this list. I mean, some of the ones that stick out. I'll start with Work Done. Sure, I'm a homer too. That one was really cool. Loved Work and Mike Allstott in the same backfield. Those were some days, as well as some favorites like Bob Sanders returning here, Troy Vincent, somebody that was just kind of always a menace to play against, both in real life and I can still just remember the old Madden. I always played Madden in a fantasy draft mode, and I would always I'm getting Troy Vincent. He's going to be in the secondary.
That's awesome.
Asante Samuel, I know that's been another one where people would always tag me and Asante Samuel. Like, when are we going to do this? Let's get him on. Let's get him in. Boom. We got him. He's in. Dre Bly, always loved Dre Bly. That guy was always just something special. Super athletic, UNC guy. That was pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, a lot of great names on there. Those are some of the few that stick out to me.
Yeah, Roddy White. I mean, I know a lot of people are probably excited about that. And then, of course, Max Strong, Seahawks. Okay, moving on. I'm going to leave here for 1 second, and then I'm going to transition off. Hopefully that gave people enough time. And again, I do apologize to you guys if it hasn't been properly edited or beautified from a formatting perspective. Just a lot to kind of get in there and format it just right late last night. So apologies if I misspelled any name. That's on me. You know what? Come at me. I get it. It's my fault. All right, let's talk about Legends. So Legends, there's going to be a little bit of a change to Legends. Do you want to talk about that, Jake, real quick?
Yeah, we could talk about Legends and this. I mean, between this and maybe the next thing that we talk about, I'll start to get into tease mode a little bit. So kind of pull the curtain back a little bit. When we go and we get after, or we start to identify a list and we want to go after and try to sign these players, we've been working through the NFLPA. That's been like kind of our primary way, and continues to be a main way in which we go after and try to acquire agreements with these players. This year, we've recently added another group to the fold with IMG, and with them, they've also been another like really great partner and been able to help kind of secure some additional legends. Some of them that you've already seen, with Tony Romo, in the pre-order. You've got again like Sam Mills and Andre Johnson. There's some more on that list, and I am definitely not going to spoil that here. But a lot of the people that we see kind of constantly woven into the conversation for guys that they would like to see return to Madden, there's a decent chance we might see them at some point this year. So really excited about that. I think it's going to make for just a great year and a lot of surprises to come.
Is that part of like what I hear in the office, in the virtual office, the 50? Is that kind of what you're talking a little bit about?
We can dive into the 50 in a second. I don't want to disregard your Legends comment too. So thanks for reeling me back in. With Legends specifically, we are going to go down to only 2 Legends on Saturday. So that's the bad news. The good news is that both of those players will kind of have like boss versions, if you will. I don't know if that's what we're officially calling them, but I know that's a vernacular that a lot of people will understand what that means. For those that don't, what that means is it's typically a +1 from what that set legend is. For sure. In this year, what it's really going to be is kind of it's almost like power up, like just straight shot past. So it's like not only is it +1, but it's like all the things that the power up would have had as well. Now the downside is the next time that particular legend gets another item, you don't just build off of the boss. Like you still need the power up. So like it's awesome, really great like right now, but in terms of like the long-term investment, you're still going to want to go to that power up. That boss will still be able to go into the power up, and so there's still a story there. But yeah, so each weekend 2 legends, 2 limiteds.
And we'll be talking more about Legends closer to worldwide launch, August 28th. That's not the date, just to be clear. It's going to be very close, right? So there'll be more information. Make sure to follow at EA Sports _MUT when we start tweeting out that kind of stuff.